Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of What a Hell of a Way to Dad. It is another video slideshow episode. I'm really enjoying these. It's making me take a lot more photos, especially since we're going to be doing a lot of travel this summer. I'm going to Louisville over Father's Day. We're going to be going to Kansas City. We got a lot of really cool stuff coming up, so I'm going to be taking a lot of photos and everything. A lot of Irish fests, because these are all tied to my daughter's Irish dance, so hope you like shamrocks, because you're going to see a lot of that shit, especially over the summer. Irish dance is such a weird thing to be involved in, because we are nominally Irish. Like, I am nominally Irish. Like, I have family way back, but like all of the family that I ever met was from America. I consider myself American because I am European mutt, basically. So, and my wife and I were both raised Catholic, and so in St. Louis, the Irish Catholic community is big on the Irish dance. So and while my wife and I don't go to mass anymore, we at least understand it and speak the language, and so we know how to hang. We know how to talk about a pope with some of these people. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We did recently go to Chicago, and I got to talk about Chicago. Sadly, we did not get to stay too long there. Chicago was great. The drive up there was a lot of fun, and the competition went really well. My daughter got a medal. Hey, we love to place in our dances. The unfortunate thing is our dog sitter, who's supposed to take care of. I have a dog and 3 cats that get fed. We don't free feed. We don't just leave food out. So we have to have somebody come over. And our neighbor was supposed to take care of him. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll take care of walk the dog. He's planning to be home all weekend. It'll be great. And then, like, after we had already been there for 24 hours, he calls us and is like, I don't have a key to get into your house. Which, like, one, I'm pretty sure we gave him one. But I had a key that he was able to get to. So once he got to that key, then we had to have the discussion of why has it been 24 hours and you're just now checking on my pets. That means nobody's eaten, dog hasn't gone out, any of that stuff. So we're annoyed by that, as you can imagine. So, and because we didn't trust him going forward, after the competition on Saturday, we just drove on home. So that was unfortunate, but I did at least get some photos while we were out. So we do have some slideshow stuff to go over as well. It is what it is, unfortunately. So let's kind of take a look at some of the things. So first off, we're talk through the slideshow. I know that some people are probably going to be listening to this and not watching it. That's fine. I'm going to do my best to describe most of the photos that we're going to look at regardless. So I'm going to try to, however you like to consume this media, you want to watch it, you want to listen to it, we're going to make sure that you are seeing and understanding what's going on. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about was I finished this book, and I spoke about this book on some other, maybe the last episode, maybe the first one I did of these video ones that I've been doing recently. His Majesty's Dragon is a book that says, what if Napoleon had dragons? But not just Napoleon, everybody. Like, everybody has dragons. They do dragon stuff. I didn't realize until later on in the book that, like, the dragons are so big that they have a full, like, crew. There's, like, 6 to 8 people. They, actually more than that. It seems like more than a dozen, because they have like everything that you would have on a regular tall ship of the time. It's the Marines that are shooting, it's got lieutenants, it's got ones who are underneath and on top, and it's got your captain, who is the one who is the one bonded with the dragon. So this book was there's like 8 or 9 books in the series. I liked it. I'm not immediately going into the next book. I wanted to move on to something a little bit different, but I will be coming back to the series, I think. I really, it's a little silly, but it takes itself seriously, and it's not goofy, which I really appreciate from this book. So if you like that kind of like, what I want to read Patrick O'Brian, but with less technical details and more dragons, here you go. Naomi Novik. Pick that up, start reading it. I've seen this been optioned a couple of times for movies and TV shows, and I think this would translate to the screen really well. So hopefully somebody can make that happen. All right, so what I've moved on to is The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. I wanted to read something that was history, but I didn't want to read something that's sad history, because a lot of history books are kind of sad history books. I didn't want to read something political. I've been reading some of the Soviet-Afghan war books recently, and it's like I need something different. I need a palate cleanser of some sort. So because last week we went to the nuclear waste dump out in Weldon Spring, I'm kind of keeping on with that nuclear, radiation, radiological, atomic theme of some kind. So, so far I'm only like a chapter into this book so far. I just picked it up this weekend, so we had a really good. I really enjoying it so far. And again, this is just something that I've been looking for a while. Is like, can I just read something about history that is like just not rage-inducing, and this is more unfortunate than it is enraging, just because of the women. It's about the women who were painting luminous radium dials or numbers on watches. And so what would happen is they'd paint them, and to make the paintbrushes really 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 tiny so they could paint the numbers on, they would lick the end of the paintbrushes, and little by little it started to give them all cancer. So, and also they were just like in it, like it was in the air. Like the person that they're kind of following, this 14-year-old girl who just starts working at the radium factory. She talks about how the women glow in the studio because there's so much of this dust in the air. So not great. People didn't understand things back then, and that's unfortunate. But it is, so far it's a really good book. Really a lot of interesting stuff going on there. All right, next, let's talk Savers. We go to Savers a lot. Savers is a secondhand store. It's like Goodwill, but Goodwill is, I believe, a nonprofit, and Savers is a for-profit. Now, the upside to Savers are a couple things. Things are a little bit more expensive than at Goodwill. Not by, like, a lot. This is very much overpriced. Sometimes they will overprice stuff. But it's cleaner too. Like, people actually go around and make sure the shelves look nice and everything. But it's still staffed by like the weirdest fucking people you've ever met, who are all absolutely lovely and wonderful, and I would die for every one of them. Love them. So we love our Savers. We go there probably about twice a week, and it's because our daughter's dance class is out there. So we drop her off at dance class, and then we go to Savers, and we buy little things like this. We didn't buy this though. The bread machine. I took a picture of this because there was a huge influx of people making bread during COVID and during the pandemic. And then I remember bread machines being big. I can't remember when, but people were like, oh, bread machines, this is the newest, next best thing that we've got going on. Maybe it was in the 90s, I don't know. So, and no hate, because I have a bread machine that I bought from Savers for like $10 though. I think it's a Sunbeam. I'm not gonna. I don't know. But it's secondhand. It was used like maybe a handful of times. Somebody bought it for like $100 from Bed Bath and Beyond at some point. Made bread 4 times. Said, "Wow, this is completely useless." And then we bought it. There are bread machines at Savers all the time. I cannot remember the last time I've gone and not seen a bread machine of some kind ready. This one, though, comes with a VHS. That's how you know it's fancy. That's why it's marked up. That's why it's $20 instead of the $10 one that I got. Mine was not a Regal, which is a very good brand if you were in the 1990s. I guess it's probably still a good brand now, but mine, instead of having a VHS that I could watch, I unfortunately had to buy a recipe book, which I got from Savers. So it all balances itself out. I have a lot of cookbooks that I've gotten from Savers. So the bread machine, you should get one. If you've ever been thinking of it and you think, man, maybe I want one, but they're expensive, go to Savers. Go whatever your closest place to get secondhand things like that. Like, I mean, something nicer than Goodwill. I wouldn't trust something I found at a bread machine that I found at Goodwill. I'm more trusting of these ones that I find at Savers. So you can get them for pretty cheap. I'm going to give you a little insider information too. If you take something to donate, they give you a 20% off coupon. So like, when we bought ours, it was $10, but we probably got it for $8 because we got that coupon. So, thrifty thoughts. Keep it, money's tight these days, so get rid of some shit and get yourself a discount to get some more shit, I guess. that's how we treat this. We bought a lot of kitchen gadgets that we like. All right, I'll pick this up for like $7 and bring it home. Maybe we'll use it. Maybe we won't. Maybe it doesn't turn out to be as good as we want. And if it's not, then we take it back, and then we get 20% discount on the next single use item that we want to pick up. So it's a good process that we have. All right, the Grant LTCB, $60. This thing had not been used. The box was kind of old and beat up, but everything was still in the plastic on the inside. It was tempting, I'm going to tell you. There is something, I don't know, maybe it's something inherently about men and dudes who want to talk on a radio. And not on a phone. Nobody wants to talk on a phone. Nobody wants to call anybody, but I do want to pick up a walkie-talkie and use some cool codes and talk to people in completely different places. So the CB radio is $60, so no, I didn't pick it up. And I'm not going to get into learning how to do this. I, at one point, looked into ham radio operation, and I think that's one of those things that, like, if it didn't hook itself into my brain, then it never was going to. So I did not pick up a ham radio either, but the CB radio was kind of tempting. I don't know, who do I want to talk to? Truckers? Like, I do know one trucker, and he's very smart. He's a good friend of mine, but he doesn't do over-the-road trucking anymore. So, and he's just like, you don't want to talk to those guys. You don't need to talk to truckers. So did not pick that up, but. Again, all the great stuff that you can get at Savers. People drop off all kinds of weird shit there. I've found baseball cards, like huge like stacks of like baseball cards from the 80s, which you can buy in the store at whatahellofawaytodad.com. If you look in the podcast attic, you will see those in there. So Savers, great place to pick up stuff. There's a lot of the things that I have actually in the podcast attic that's rotating that I'm selling, I pick up from Savers. And we're trying to be better about picking up more, cute, kitschy things, not just coffee mugs and stuff like that. But, this stuff comes in really cheap. And heck, if someone would give me $8 for a coffee mug, I'll send you a coffee mug. So that's how it works out. All right. So, like I said, we went up to Chicago this weekend. We were unfortunately not able to spend the whole time in Chicago that we wanted. We wanted to go to the Shed Aquarium, and we had a couple friends we were going to meet up out there. But, like I said, we drove up on Friday, and we had to turn around and drive back on Saturday instead of staying until Monday like we wanted to. But we did stop off at a little roadside spot called Motorheads. This is just to the south of Springfield. It's still in Springfield proper, so but it is before you get really into Springfield, you're going to hit Motorheads. This place was great. I loved this little spot. This is a bar, restaurant, and what am I thinking? It's like a media spit. Like they have a stage. But all these things are like separate. Like let me take you through Motorheads. So. Motorheads has a lot of really cool, kitschy Route 66 on the stuff on the outside. A lot of staved signs, a lot of the old tin signs and everything that are from, old gas stations and places that might now be defunct. The building itself was an old Stuckey's, which I think was a gas station of some kind. I can't remember what Stuckey's was. They had like some old race cars up on the roof. Like they just had it was like one dude's collection. This right here, this Batman Forever Batmobile. Unfortunately, this was not working. A lot of things they just pick up and put in there. My daughter was not having it. She would not get it. She loves Batman too, but she did not want to get into the Batmobile. But they have like this whole big outside area like the parking lot that you can walk around and like take a look at a lot of the stuff that they have. They have an old like McDonald's sign from the 80s. Just, again, like a lot of stuff that would have ended up in a dumpster, but instead these people kind of save it. And this is, Route 66 is kind of glomming into things like this. If you want to learn more about Route 66, watch the Pixar movie Cars. You'll learn pretty much everything you need to know. It was a big road that went from Chicago down to California, Barstow, maybe further. It was the road that you took when you wanted to drive from one place to another, and you were specifically going down those places. So there's a lot of little roadside attractions, a lot of motels. St. Louis still has a lot of those old Route 66 motels. It's very strange because they're in these areas that are not really, places that people visit. Like, it's not, there's not a college nearby, or, people where you would put a hotel because people need a hotel. These motels still exist. But I feel they exist because you can probably get rentals by the hour there. Now, this was a really cool addition that I've never seen. This is a plant store. They had this out on the parking lot. It seemed like part of, but separate from the rest of the event space and the bar and everything. But this is great. There's also a couple of big sheds that you could walk through, some potting sheds. And you can go and buy little plant stuff. It's not, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that the person buys to resell. I saw in there like a square sign, like much like the signs that I get them from Savers. I sand them down, I repaint them, I put my own stuff on them. I saw one of those and it was like a Stevie Nicks quote. And it's like, oh, that's something that I could do. And they're charging like $80 for it. Like, that is insane. I would charge maybe about $30. But it does get the wheels turning about what you can and can't get away with. But it was really nice. I mean, it's a plant store, so I'm not gonna sit here and shit talk them or anything. This was a really cool addition that they have here. You don't see things like this, and it's cool to be like, oh, we're gonna stop here. Oh, hey, look, there's also a plant store where I can buy plants. I'm going to tell you, middle-aged people think that way. So that's because there was the first one we stopped and it was like, oh, look at all the stuff. Oh, shit, there's a plant store. Let's go. So they know their audience. This is inside. So they have like an inside and outside event space area. This was the outside, obviously, because we were outside. And you can see some of the signs they have. They have this cool spaceship here in the middle. Arts Barbecue, the Dove Inn, the Breckenridge Pub over here. Just a lot of old signs that they like, hey, instead of throwing that away, I'm sure that we can find a place for it. You can see on the picnic tables here that those things, I don't know what they are. I mean, they're ashtrays. I know what they're being utilized for currently. I don't know what they were, though. But it does seem like one of those last refuge of the persecuted smoker kind of areas. So this was really cool. This is, like I said, this is outside, and then if you turn around, you'll find some roller doors, and there's an inside area, and that's what this is here. And this is really cool. So there's a stage up there. And there is also like a whole big restaurant area that's about the same size as this side. I didn't take any pictures of inside the restaurant because I don't like taking pictures inside of bars with people who might not want their picture being shown to a bunch of YouTubers on a slideshow. So I didn't take any pictures in there, but we did have some really great stuff that was happening here. You can see more of the shell service up there on the right. There's some cool paintings. Just really like, I originally when I walked in, I kind of had that like, this is it feels forced, but after kind of walking around, you can see that there's like somebody gave a shit about this stuff. Partially because there's also a museum in there. So this museum is part of, you can just walk in and it's part of the whole set. And this is as big as it is, but they have a lot of really cool, like the bulletin board with advertisements and stuff, like old advertisements from things that used to be on Route 66, these old cars. This green one here is a yogi. There's like a Yogi Bear in it. It's a good spot to stop. And the fact that it's right outside of Springfield, though, also, like, it's a good roadside stop, but it's close enough to a big city that it gets a lot of traffic from there. Like, it's been voted, like, one of the best venues in Springfield multiple times, and I can see why. They always have, I pulled up their website, they always had live music that was playing. They had a lot of really cool stuff that was going on. So, honky tonks and stuff like this really aren't my scene, but if somebody was playing that I wanted to see, I would drive up here to come see them, because like I said, this is a really cool spot. And so yeah, this is just a really cool spot. It reminds me a lot of Uranus, Missouri. If you're not familiar with that one, it's down outside of Fort Leonard Wood. So right outside of Fort Leonard Wood, there was this like complex that was, the best way I can describe it is a strip mall, but it wasn't, a strip mall how it looks to you. It was a strip mall that looked like an old westy town. Like, so it had these, buildings that were kind of separate from each other, but all slammed together, but also kind of old timey. This was when you were in Fort Leonard Wood. This was where you went to go see strip clubs and get into fights. It was nicknamed Porn Town. I don't know if it was nicknamed that by everybody, but that's what we called it. So it ended up closing down, as places of ill repute often do. But this guy came in and bought it and turned it into a roadside attraction. His thing was like, I always wanted a roadside attraction, and he went real big with it. It's cool because, like I said, he's right outside of Fort Leonard Wood, so he's got a city that he can kind of reach out to. But there's not really there's a circus museum there. There is a bunch of stuff that he's rescued from Route 66. There's actually I'm very glad there's a restaurant that was called Cooking from Scratch. And Cooking from Scratch was one of those. It was a restaurant that's attached to a gas station. And the food was fine. We always liked stopping there because it had this burgundy El Camino out front with a chicken, like a giant chicken in the back of it. And that was rescued, thankfully, when Cooking from Scratch when they closed down. This guy bought it and has it there, parked out back, but again, he's got like the world's largest belt buckle. He's got a coin-operated jug band, like a full-size coin-operated jug band. It's a remarkable place, and it's got a lot of butt jokes too. It's called Uranus. It's got a fudge factory. The best fudge comes from Uranus. It has a mini golf course called the Putt Pirates. You see where it's going. So it's a perfect roadside stop. So Motorhead's kind of is maybe a little bit more serious and is a little bit more of a business, but I still think it's a great place to stop. It's a different vibe, but I'm not going to say that it doesn't belong. This is just another way this is a way that somebody else is celebrating and enjoying Route 66, and I think that both sides end up doing it very well. Again, there's a lot of really cool stuff that has been salvaged and saved that's on display here. That is just, it's Americana history. And, when we talk American history, it's usually a lot about politics and like the bullshit that's happening. But culture history is very interesting and deeply fascinating. And Route 66 is a real, stuck inside of a lot of people's brains in some ways. So, again, watch Cars. You'll learn a lot about Route 66 from the movie Cars. This is Cozy Dog. I don't know if Cozy Dogs is still open or not. I don't know what the implications are here. If it's the GI, the Army hot dog, or the gastrointestinal hot dog, I don't know. Is this a soldier? Is this an American hot dog soldier who's getting ready to go and kill German bratwursts in World War II? I don't like it. I don't like what we're trying to say here. So we're just gonna move on from that. All right. No road trip for us would be complete without stopping off at Wally's. For those of you who don't know what Wally's is, and probably most of you don't, but you can probably guess, you might have something like this. If you're down south, you have Buc-ee's, which is kind of the same concept. Giant gas station that wants to be a spot that you can pull over and hang out at. I will say Buc-ee's does it very well because I see a lot of people that wear Buc-ee's t-shirts, which is strange to me, but whatever. I get it because we really enjoy going to Wally's. The way that Wally's, for those of you who have not been to any of these, and I've never been to a Buc-ee's, I'm just going off of what other people say about Buc-ee's being much like a Wally's. So you go, it's like I said, it's a big gas station, a lot of gas pumps and everything, but it also has a whole side of this is dedicated to road trip games and accoutrements and t-shirts, and they have a big Winnebago parked in there that has t-shirt displays and bumper stickers. It is a road trip, the Great American Road Trip kind of spot. So that's as we are doing more driving now that we have this van. It's very exciting to be doing more of these roadside stops. My wife has resurrected her roadside her roadside blog as well, Craves, Caves, and Graves, which I will add links to, and I will post about on Blue Sky, and we'll talk about here, because while it is her own thing, it's her travel, it's going to be under her LLC technically, but it is going to involve me a lot and travel and all the things that we really like to do. So there'll be some crossover with that. We are going to be driving, and we're going to be able to stop off at a lot more really cool places. Show caves. We're big fans of a cave that that somebody poured a bunch of concrete into, and now you can walk into. I know when we go to Louisville, we're looking at doing some show caves, and we're thinking about going up north to Minnesota and Wisconsin and things like that. So, and all again, lots of really cool stuff to see. Maybe go down to Branson again. I don't know. I haven't completely soured on Branson, Missouri. I do still kind of like it there, but it is real deep red Missouri country. So you gotta watch out down there. Anyway, Wally's, I took a picture of a couple things in there. These Wally Crawly soldiers, these sticky rubber soldiers that you can throw at a wall and they fall down. They crawl down the wall. I did not buy them because this looks like it's going to... I mean, if I throw a soldier against a wall and it sticks, it's leaving a stain. Like, no matter, some kind of stain, it's going to come up under black light, though, and nobody wants that. So this was... I've never seen anything like this either. I just thought it was very, very strange. And then also they have this the wall of like dude tools. All of these the little like the knives that are like the shape of a credit card, right, where it unfolds and everything. Some of these like the pirate multi-tools, like it's got the pirate eyes are different size hex openings, so you can. And if you've ever tried to use one of these, like been like, oh, I need a tool and pulled this out, you will throw it in a fucking ocean immediately. They suck. They're terrible. None of them work. Just have a multi-tool. Like, I just have a multi-tool in my bag. That's the easiest thing to do. But also, these things are very funny. And I have, in the past, bought some myself. None of these. None of this, like, piranha one, this beetle one. Nothing like that. I do have a couple of small Gerbers, though. So, and then these ruler key rings. Like, who needs this on their key ring? Like, I need to measure something. But it's like this... foldable one. Like, give me a tape measure. Like, give me something that will roll back up. I have small tape measures. I have like ones that are for clothing. So they're not the metal ones. They're small cloth ones that are, I'm never really measuring anything bigger than 2 feet. So I don't come across a need for the 12-foot ones. We do have them. I just I don't need to put it on a keychain. I don't think I need to put this on a keychain either. But that's fine. All right, so this was a sign that was in our hotel in the morning. It says, "Attention guests, please do not microwave hard-boiled eggs. They will explode. Thank you, Fairfield Inn staff." My question being, how many times did this have to happen before they said, hey, we need to put up a sign? And this sign is... This isn't just like taped up here. You can see there's like this plastic box around. Like, this is something that they mounted and put this in specifically because it happened too many times. Too many people were microwaving their hard-boiled eggs. Now, I don't know what conditions you need to microwave a hard-boiled egg in for it to explode. Please, if you're at home, feel free to do some experimentation. Microwave some hard-boiled eggs. Get back to us. Because, I'm wondering, it's like, well, if you de-shelled them, would it be fine? Microwaves heat things up, heat up water from the middle. So I would imagine if it's still in the shell is going to be holding on that steam and then it's going to pop. Maybe if you've already de-shelled it would work. But I feel like also it's a lot easier to just say, don't fucking do it, than it is to give complicated directions on what, if you need to do this, here's specifically what to do. Just don't microwave your hard-boiled eggs. I mostly eat my hard-boiled eggs cold anyway, so I'm good. Don't need to microwave anything. So, because we weren't able to go to Chicago, we decided instead to spend our money here in St. Louis, our fabulous city. We really wanted to go to the Shed Aquarium in Chicago. We were big fans of aquariums. aquariums aren't in every city, you know. So when you get to come across one and spend some time at one, it's really nice. St. Louis has a really nice one. It started kind of small. It's growing. It's really expanding. But they also have like the Build-A-Bear headquarters out here. So this is where all the Build-A-Bear radio gets recorded. Not by these guys. I don't know what these guys are podcasting about. I'm sure there's something about Casper mattresses and best way to get honey to increase your gains that's going on here. But this is an active radio studio. The lady who was working there told us like all the announcements and recordings that you hear in the Build-A-Bear stores are recorded here. So if you find yourself in a Build-A-Bear store and you're listening to the music, that magic happens right here in St. Louis. My daughter ended up getting an Eevee. She's really on a Pokemon kick right now. We actually picked up Pokemon Shield for her, and I started playing it too. I played the original Pokemon, and she really is into Pokemon, and I feel like I don't want to squelch it and be like, stop talking to me about Pokemon. So I need to be up on it myself. So I'm back playing Pokemon. It's fine. It's a dogfighting game. Like, let's be honest. Pokemon is insane. The world makes absolutely no sense, and the whole thing is like, I'm 10 years old and I'm going to get into dogfighting. Sure, I'm with it. I'm into that. So here's an otter. This is our aquarium that we have inside of our old Union Station. Union Station used to be it was a train stop, but it was also kind of a mall. Had a lot of stores, has a hotel in it, has event space and everything. And then, the things stop being, people stop going to stores and everything. But Union Station has really turned around to this really cool, it's got a big Ferris wheel now. It's like they're kind of building a carnival vibe there, which I really love. I think it's going to be really cool once they really dig into everything that they got going on there. So, but yeah, just a little couple shots from. I took pictures of like the lamest things. We have sharks and other things. Like we have cool stuff too. We have a big blue lobster called Lord Stanley that I didn't take a picture of, but a lot of really good stuff there. Hey, bit of a wardrobe change. Tacking this on to the end, I wanted to give you guys a little update on what we've got coming up this coming week, coming month, everything with the podcast. Coming into June, the month is, the year is nearly halfway done at this point. So this month, I already have planned out, not recorded, but planned, another MASH episode with Carrie. We're going to start season 3, and then I think after that we're going to start kind of just choosing episodes, the ones that we like, the ones that we think are either important to us or important to American culture when it comes to MASH. Because if you haven't been listening, we have been doing two episodes per episode that we record, and we've just been going in order. And we finished season 2, and then we did a Columbo interlude. And I think I want to keep doing this, but Jesus Christ, it's so much MASH. So I think we're going to condense it, mostly because we want to kind of get through MASH, and we don't want to torture ourselves with having to watch all the season 10 stuff, season 11 stuff, and we want to do other stuff. Carrie is really into Columbo. I've only watched that one Columbo episode, so I want to watch a couple other ones because that one wasn't so good. We watched Deadweight, and he picked that one because it's kind of got military connections to it. But as an episode goes, it's not all that great. But I know there's a lot of good stuff there, so we're going to be doing more of that. Doing MASH. I've got another news hour set to record with the Zoo crew. So me, Carrie, and Joe. And then I have to figure out Deadliest Warrior. I think that it might be a very Zoo Crew heavy month for you. So if you guys really like listening to me, Carrie, and Joe shoot the shit and talk about stuff, I think this Deadliest Warrior I might do as a Zoo Crew one because this is the Nazi one. So it's going to be uncomfortable, but I'd like to if there's somebody who has knowledge and history and understanding of discussing things that make everybody uncomfortable, especially when it comes to history and bad history, that's Joe. So I'm gonna hopefully I think he's gonna be the best one to have on for this one. So look for all that coming this month. All of that you can get on the Patreon, patreon.com/hellovawaytodie. And then there's the website, what a hell of a way to dad. That I've got. I've been putting up some signs. I've been doing the nuclear waste home decor signs again. I've been doing batches of those. I think there's still like 1 or 2 left in the store at the moment, and then I'll release more once I make more. I have to sit down and actually create them. Something I don't really have as much time as I wish that I had for it. I could do. It's one of those things where it's like, this is a hobby and this is a side project thing that I could spend more time on, but it takes away from so many other things. And like, my priorities are like my actual job, the podcast, family, not in this order, but like these are things that I pay attention, that I have to give my time and attention to. So, we start that family, my regular job, my podcast, things like that. So, so there's, and then it's like, when do you find time to sit in the basement and do all this stuff? And the basement's really uncomfortable, like, and that's on me, like, because it's a huge mess, and I need to spend like an hour and a half down there cleaning and reorganizing, and that's just, where do you find that time to? So, but I got lots of stuff. We've got a lot of in-person events coming up that I really need to do a lot more work on. So, I've got a couple things, a couple ideas, things bouncing around in my head. I've got all these signs that I can do so many things with, and I don't know exactly what else I want to do. I'm not going to make them all nuclear waste signs, but I got them I got the signs for a pretty good deal. So we're going to do some things. I've been rolling some Darmok and Jalad Itanagra in my head to kind of, go a little bit of a nerd route to it. We'll see. But that's what we've got coming this week. We're going to be at St. Charles Pride Fest, which is in June. I can't remember which weekend it is, but if you are in St. Louis area, you'll be able to find me, and you can buy stuff, but also you can just stop by and say hi. We'll be at Pride Fest at St. Charles. I'm not doing the Tower Grove one is in September. We haven't put up money for that one yet. And then we have another one called Geek Craft Expo, which is, I think, in July. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have my calendar in front of me. So we have some in-person events. So if you're a St. Louisan or if you're in the general area, feel free to come on out and say hi, hang out. I've had lots of people come. I didn't realize how many people listen to the show and live within like a 1.5 mile radius of me. So far it's 3. But that's a lot. That's a lot of people that apparently live by me, and they've all come by and they're all really cool. So, kudos to that, and please be one to come out and say hi as well. As you can figure, I'm probably not going to be taking this show on the road. Nate and Joe get to take Lions Led by Donkeys on the road all the time. They go all over London and Netherlands and Ireland, Belfast. I live in St. Louis, and the closest person who lives to me is Carrie, and I think he's in Connecticut now. I don't know what state he's in. He's bounced around. Might be Rhode Island, or Virginia. But he's East Coast. I'm in the middle. Not a lot of people come and visit. So, if you wanna interact face to face, that's the place to do it. And I'll always tell you what our other events are that are coming up. We're trying to do at least one a month, especially these bigger ones, these ones that cost a lot of money to get into, but hopefully you get to make a little money too. We've been doing vendor events for a long time, and so we've really got an idea of like how they work and how they feel. But like there are tiers of vendor events. Because there's the ones that are like, there's the cheap ones at like the VFWs that are just full of people who are doing paparazzi and I'd say Tupperware, but Tupperware doesn't exist. The direct sales people, candles and shit like that. And then as you move up the tiers, you get to the actual makers, people who create things on their own, and there's a lot of different levels of that. I've seen some really incredible artwork out there. I've seen some really shitty stuff too. But everybody's welcome. If you're making it yourself, hey, come on by. I bought some cool stuff. 3D printing is really big. There's big reason why I haven't bought a 3D printer is there's too much 3D printing now. And you always see the people who print the little tiny things that are like the free STLs. But I've seen some really impressive 3D printing, especially dice towers, and I bought a Nuka-Cola bottle, like a Fallout one. So lots of good stuff at those. So if you have any of these vendor events happening around you where there's local creators, I implore you to go out to them, because that is like, if you want to stimulate some economy here, and you want to give your money to somebody who is like actually creating something, doing something. It's not mass marketed produced. Those events are where you want to go, and you'll find all kinds of cool gifts there. If you're shopping for anybody, especially at Christmas time, because again, like you go on Amazon, you kind of dick around and maybe you find something, maybe you don't. But like when you have all of these vendors that are kind of laid out and you can wander around and you can take a look at everything and you can talk to the people and you can see what people are making. Because let me tell you, there's going to be things out there that you didn't think people would make. And then suddenly you're like, oh, I didn't know that existed, but I desperately need it. Much like my wife's Yip Yip bags that she has. So keep an eye out for those in your neighborhood. Those are always really great to go to. And I think that's all that I have for you this week. We will hopefully be doing another one of these, if not next week, then the week after. I have some more slideshows, some more photos for you to talk about, and we will discuss what else is happening with the podcast. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.